All right, welcome back, guys. Today is December 19th. Today we're going to be taking a look at the top 5 trending stocks according to StockTwits. As always, before we get started, guys, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all you guys for stopping in. Also, before we get started, I want to put you guys on to a crazy offer one of my favorite brokers, Fidelity, has going on, and I'm not getting paid for this at all. They're trying to promote new people signing up for new accounts. If you go ahead and sign up for these various accounts with Fidelity, they'll actually double your money. Okay, so if you deposit $25 here in their save and earn reward account, they'll give you $50. If you sign up for a normal investment account and you deposit $50, they'll give you $100. And if you have a child who's a teenager, if you just open them an account, they'll give you $50. So this is something that I couldn't not share with you guys. So if you want to do it, I'll put the link in the description. But with that being said, let's hop straight into it. So number one trading stock was low-key Shiba Inu. I want to do Bitcoin instead because Shiba Inu is not on TOS. But take a look at what we have here in my prediction with this arrow. Yes, I do think Bitcoin is potentially headed to 7,220 if we don't return above that $18,000 level. Okay, guys, listen up. It is extremely pivotal for Bitcoin to bounce right here, get back above 18.2, and in the best case, break this upper trend line right up here and return to this supply zone at around 20 to 24,000. This is a huge test that I've been looking at for months now, that 18,220 level. If Bitcoin cannot reclaim that, this is exactly what I think is going to go down, because if we look at the RSI here, a key thing that we see is a head and shoulders pattern potentially forming. So unless Bitcoin can regain the strength of this previous run back in October, this thing will collapse and it will be once again oversold. Now, what does oversold look like for Bitcoin? It'll probably first return back to around or beneath 15,000. From there, it has a chance of rising back to around 18. If it rejects there, I do think it's likely that we'll see 7,000. Where does that number come from? If we use the yearly chart, that was the highest closing price or the close price of 2019. And the upwards resistance is the close of 2020. All right, so that is something to definitely keep your eyes on. Next, we got Disney. Disney is actually sitting on a support. We're slightly beneath it, but the 86.66 level is what I'm looking at from a very long-term perspective. I mean, you can see historically, lots of liquidity enters the market. Every single time we return to these levels, you can see if we do the weekly chart, our supply is all the way actually above to 118 to 124. So quite a bit of upside playing this, but we see we've only tested that supply zone once. That's what I would be targeting if I did jump into this trade. Utilize a tight stop loss though. We don't have another support until around $68. All right, so we have 40% upside, 20% downside. If I was to do this trade, I would just take a 10% stop loss to around $75 and basically hope it gets back up to the supply before it goes down to that other support. All right, next we got DWAC. So DWAC is something that I called a few months ago. I basically noticed this downtrend here. We had a downtrend both on the price chart as well as the RSI, and I pointed out that there was a good chance that this thing would spike back above there and get back into this RSI zone that I drew, which is exactly what happened. We got back to around that $30 level. This was a trade that I actually took, and now we're back kind of within this range. So this is a dead play for me. It's down 11% today. Not much that I think you can really do there. All right, so here's Fisker. I had to look at the IPO date to get the actual price data. So around 748 is where our current support term resistance is. And we have a supply all the way up here at around $10, and we've tested that. We bounced off of it here. We tested it here, tested it here. Then we got a long downtrend. So we have two walls right now of resistance. So for this thing to advance all the way to $10, we likely have to get past the 748 level, which, I mean, after such a strong downtrend as we broke the previous trading range of this stock, it's not likely that this will just explode back up. I think it'll probably just trade in the range here. So this would probably be a pass for me as well. All right, and last but not least, we have MDGL Pharmaceutical. And this was an explosive one today. It was up 268%. All right, so how am I going to interpret this one? So we obviously have a large resistance potentially at 183 bucks right around here. As you can see, that's acted as support, it's acted as resistance. So the likelihood, in my opinion, is after such a strong move, obviously this thing will start to sell off, potentially directly underneath 183. We go down to our shorter term time frames. You can see like we're well beyond the Bollinger Band, but where does it stop? Right around that $138 level. I do think this will probably come back down first to 138. Okay, and then obviously there's a risk of it closing this gap entirely, which I don't think it'll do right away, because obviously there was some company changing news that came out today. But you know, there is, I think, a high likelihood this thing comes back down to 138 bucks. Now on the flip side, it might go up to 274. It might go to 364 at the most. That's 52% upside versus 40% downside. So I don't think this is worth going long on, simply because there's so much downside risk at current levels, and I can see this is trading even higher in the after hours. So don't chase this stock. Just my opinion, you might get hurt, but it does look like it has a lot of firepower behind it. But yeah, that's all we got for today, guys. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you got some value out of it. Peace.